What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing M3GAN, and M3GAN has received kind of mid-range to mostly positive reviews. Even people I know whose opinions I kind of value and trust really enjoyed this film, and after watching it I simply don't have a clue what everyone's on about. This is about as mediocre and forgettable a horror film as it's possible to be, and I think that's because it's a classic case of a film trying to be several things at once, never really committing to one thing, and just ultimately providing very surface level entertainment across the board. Part of M3GAN wants to be an outright horror film. It fails at that. Part of it wants to be a campy, fun horror film, which it tries to be and should have been that more than anything else. But because it also wants to do other things, it then fails at that. And then it also wants to be a social commentary on the dangers of artificial intelligence and the kind of controversies surrounding it, and thought-provoking you about the uses and applications of real-world technology. Interesting, and that's, I think, the basis for a really good all-out horror film, which it doesn't commit to. And then the film also tries to have its emotional core by being this family drama. But due to a very kind of not compelling and unlikable lead character, it fails at that. When this film knows not to take itself seriously, I think it's okay. Weirdly, coming out of this film, I genuinely think I would have rather watched a feature-length film about the weird funky toy things at the start, and I would rather have watched a very campy horror film about them gaining sentience and autonomy and being let loose around households and toy stores and just go nuts and massacring the human race. I think that would have been a really cool, campy, fun horror premise. But M3GAN is just kind of hampered down by very poor horror elements. I think most of the horror comes from the real world potential of the idea that they then really don't tap into. The film also has a running kind of subplot about the kind of marketing and global release of this brand new piece of tech that's going to change the world. And, you know, considering the small scale family drama of the film versus the pioneering, world-changing scale of the idea, it never really kind of gets the blend right between those two. There is genuinely some atrocious acting in this film as well. And this is the other thing as well. This is the kind of film where characters make stupid decisions. I think you're always going to bite off more than you can chew when it comes to AI and this kind of super technology. Because while at the start this film seems quite actually invested in establishing the real world potential for technology like this, the ultimate explanation behind M3GAN's sentience and her coming to life, going rogue, and gaining full autonomy over her thoughts, conscience, and actions is never explained. And so as a narrative, it just feels lazy in that regard, because you're not really given a reason for it. It's just, yeah, okay, she's formed an emotional attachment, and that supplanted everything else. I found her dancing to be unironically the best part of the film. For those 30 seconds, I feel like it had fully accepted and embraced its kind of campy groove, but that is just missing for the rest of the film entirely. This is also a film that I think could have benefited from M3GAN winning at the end. I'm not sure why we suddenly got this tendency in horror films to have the protagonist win over the monster. It was one of the things that dragged Barbarian down for me, because I thought Justin Long's character should have survived at the end to really hammer home the message of abuse that kind of underlies the whole film. Whereas in actuality he gets killed and then the heroine survives and kind of emerges triumphant. And it's similar with M3GAN. It's a very cliche final standoff that kind of prioritizes the reconnection of these human characters who you do not care about over the savagery and the brutality that this AI could potentially inflict. And it's all the worse for it. I absolutely did not enjoy this film, guys, but let me know your thoughts. Do you think I'm being too harsh? Did you manage to find some redeeming qualities in it? Drop a comment below. Also, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. That's always a huge help for me. And in the meantime, we will see you for the next vid.